If you're chasing success, and yet something still feels off, something invisible and hollow, you're not broken, you're not behind, you're simply being called to wake up. Not to the world outside you, but to the one within you. You see, most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they never learn to speak to themselves with purpose. They speak doubt into their dreams, fear into their decisions, and then wonder why everything they touch slips through their fingers. You can't move forward when your inner voice is pulling you back. And the truth is, you've been dragging a voice around for years that was never really yours. The voice of hesitation, the voice of second-guessing, the voice that was shaped by rejection, by small thinking, by environments that couldn't see your potential, and worse, never tried. That voice is not your truth. That voice is not your destiny. And if you're ready, truly ready, it's time to silence the old echo and ignite a new fire. For just 3 days, talk to yourself on purpose, not in silence, out loud. Every morning, every night, not with fake positivity or forced hype, but with honest conviction. Ask yourself, what do I want? Not what others expect, not what feels safe, but what burns inside when the world is quiet. Ask yourself, why do I keep shrinking when I was built to expand? Ask, what would I become if I stopped being afraid? The answers won't come all at once, but the process, the asking, that's the shift. Because self-awareness is the birthplace of every transformation. Until you know what voice is running the show, you're just repeating the same cycle with a different outfit. You want new results? Speak new words. Words that affirm, not erode. Words that build, not break. Talk to yourself like you would talk to someone you love. Because until you become that person to yourself, nothing outside of you will ever feel enough. The world doesn't hear your thoughts. It only reacts to your energy, and that energy is built from the words you feed your mind when no one else is listening. There is no greater relationship in your life than the one you have with your own thoughts. People may inspire you, environments may elevate you, but it's your own voice that either keeps you small or leads you to greatness. It's not strategy. It's not opportunity. It's not luck. It's language. Internal language. The way you speak when you're in the dark. That's what shapes the light you bring into the world. Your inner voice is the architect of your belief system. It determines whether you see yourself as a builder or a bystander. It defines whether you fight for your dream or flinch every time it gets hard. Most people are waiting to feel confident before they act. But the truth is, confidence is built in the trenches of effort. It is earned by speaking to yourself like a warrior long before the world sees you win. So ask yourself now, not later, how have I been speaking to myself? What tone have I set within me? Because your tone becomes your trajectory. A harsh tone leads to hesitation. A gentle tone unlocks creativity. An encouraging tone fuels courage. And a focused tone that carves empires out of thin air. You were never meant to speak to yourself like a prisoner of the past. You were born to speak like a creator of the future. When you whisper, I can't, the body obeys. When you declare, I will, the soul answers. Your words are seeds, and every sentence you repeat is watering something. What are you growing inside you right now? If you say, I'm not ready, then you are training your body to stand still. If you say, I'm figuring it out, you give yourself permission to move. If you say, I always mess this up, you're scripting the next failure. But if you say, I'm learning and I'm getting stronger, you build a foundation that doesn't crack under pressure. You don't need a new year to change. You don't need a perfect plan. What you need is a decision to change your narrative. Every transformation begins with a new conversation. A conversation with yourself. And the tone of that conversation will decide everything that follows. Seek belief into your bones. Tell yourself the truth, that you are not too late, that you are not behind, that you are not broken beyond repair. You are becoming, you are learning, you are rising, and the world is not waiting for your perfection. It is waiting for your present. Do not diminish your light to accommodate the darkness of doubt. Do not lower your voice to fit the silence of those who never believed. Speak louder. Speak truer. Speak with the conviction of someone who knows they were born for more. And when fear rises, and it will, do not deny it, but do not obey it either. Speak to it. Say, I see you, but I do not serve you. Fear is only powerful when it's the only voice in the room, but when you speak back with courage, it shrinks. When you stand firm and say, I am capable, I am willing, I am already on my way, you rob fear of its throne. You don't need more time, you need more truth. You don't need more validation, you need more vision. And it starts with how you talk to yourself when no one else is around. In the mirror, in the car, on the walk, before the big decision. After the heavy fall, speak life, speak faith, speak forward. Because one voice can shift a world, and that voice is yours. Let it not be the voice of excuses. Let it be the voice of expansion. Let it not be the voice of limitation. Let it be the voice of leadership. You are not waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You are not waiting for permission. You are the permission. This isn't motivation. This is a commandment to your soul. And if you obey it, if you wake up for 3 days and deliberately rewrite your self-talk, you will feel the ground move beneath you. Your pace will change. Your presence will evolve. Your energy will begin to speak before your mouth ever opens. That is how powerful your inner voice is. That is how much it matters. And no one can change it but you. So begin now. Don't just hope for a better life. Start speaking like someone who's already building it. Because the greatest danger is not aiming too high and missing, it's aiming too low and hitting. And far too many are wandering through life, not because they lack effort, but because they lack direction. They wake up, push through the day, answer the calls, finish the work, and fall asleep wondering why it all feels like a loop with no meaning. But meaning isn't found in the noise, it's forged in the fire of clarity. Until you know where you want to go, every road will look like a detour. Your dreams are not wishful thoughts. They are signals. They are the deepest truths your soul is trying to tell you when logic is asleep. And most people ignore those dreams, not because they don't matter, but because they're afraid of what might happen if they try. You can't live like that anymore. You can't tiptoe through life, hoping to make it safely to death. You weren't born to be careful. You were born to be clear. Write it down. Not next week. Not when it's convenient. Now. Take a notebook or the back of a napkin and pour your vision into words. Not vague goals. Not soft intentions. Crystal clarity. What do you want to build? What do you want to experience? What legacy do you want to leave behind that echoes longer than your heartbeat? Do not write from fear. Write from power. Write from the part of you that refuses to shrink any longer. Because when your goals are written with emotion and belief, they become more than desires. They become agreements. Agreements between your current self and your future self. Between who you are and who you've decided to become. Think of every great builder of history. They didn't start with hammers. They started with a picture in their mind. A blueprint so strong it pulled them out of bed and through setbacks. Edison, Ford, Disney, they saw it before it was real, and because they saw it clearly, they moved with conviction. You must do the same. Close your eyes each morning and see it, not as a wish, but as a fact. Hear the sounds of victory. Feel the weight of the success you've earned. Picture the life you want in full color, full sound, full depth, because the more you impress that image upon your subconscious, the more your actions will begin to follow it without hesitation. This is not fantasy. This is neurology. The mind, once fixed on a goal, begins to filter reality through that intention. You start noticing opportunities, attracting solutions, aligning habits with your higher aim. But none of that begins until you really decide what you want. Clarity is power. Clarity is fuel. Clarity is what separates the drift from the drive. And when doubt creeps in, because it always will, return to your written vision. Read it aloud. Let it enter your ears and sink into your bloodstream. Remind yourself, this is why I began. This is who I am becoming. Speak it with reverence. Guard it like a sacred oath. Because your vision is not just about goals, it's about becoming a steward of your potential. Purpose makes pain tolerable. When you know why you're walking, the terrain doesn't scare you. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a compelling reason. A reason that wakes you up early and keeps you up late. A reason that reminds you the obstacles are not the end, they are part of the path. Stop thinking you need a map. You are the map. Your vision is the compass, and it will pull you through fog, fatigue, and failure if you trust it long enough to follow. But you can't let it sit in the background of your mind like a forgotten bookmark. It must be active, alive, sharpened daily like a blade, because vague intentions produce vague outcomes. But when your desire becomes detailed, deliberate, and declared, you become unstoppable. Don't wait for the world to believe in you. Believe in the vision enough to walk when no one else claps. Speak about it like it's already unfolding, not to boast, but to bond with the future that is already reaching for you in return. The universe aligns with energy that moves, and clarity moves mountains. Most people talk about what they want, but they never define it, so they chase ghosts. They sprint in circles, they burn out from running after nothing. That will not be your story. You will define it, you will write it, you will visualize it, and you will breathe life into it until it breathes back into you. You are not here to survive the days, you are here to sculpt them, to wake up each morning not wondering who you are, but declaring who you are becoming. Because when your vision is clear, hesitation dies, confusion fades, distraction loses its pull, and you walk like a person who knows exactly why they are here. So take this moment seriously. Don't brush past it. Stop scrolling. Stop comparing. Stop distracting. Ask yourself right now, what do I want to build in this life? What story do I want to write with my breath? And then write it, speak it, visualize it, and let it begin pulling you like gravity into the life that's been waiting for you all along. You're not lost. You're just one decision away from direction. You're not late. You're just one choice away from alignment. You don't need more motivation. You need more clarity. Decide now. Lock it in. Repeat it daily. And let the power of vision carry you into the becoming that's already calling your name. You've spoken with power. You've seen with clarity. Now you must endure with purpose. Because no matter how strong your voice becomes, and no matter how clear your vision is, life will test you. Life will knock on your door not with comfort, but with challenge. It won't ask if you're ready. It'll simply ask, how bad do you want? And most people flinch. They retreat. Not because they're weak, but because they never trained their spirit to endure. Resilience isn't given. It's earned. It's built in the small moments when quitting feels easier. When it would be justifiable when no one would blame you if you walked away, but you don't. You stay. You rise again, and again, and again. Understand this. The path to your highest self does not come wrapped in ease. It's paved in setbacks, and every setback you face is not a punishment, it's a preparation. The hard moments are not obstacles, they are instruction. They are life's way of chiseling you into someone who can carry the weight of the dream you said you wanted. Because a shallow version of you cannot handle a deep vision. A weak version of you cannot lead a strong mission. You must become the version of yourself that doesn't just talk about the storm, but walks through it with your eyes forward and your soul intact. You're going to fall. You're going to fail. You're going to be misunderstood, underestimated, over, and in those moments you have a choice. Let it define you or let it refine you. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before the light stayed on. Imagine the strength it takes to try again after thousands of failures. That's not persistence. That's identity. That's a man who didn't see failure as a verdict, but as a process. Every great person you admire today, every innovator, every builder, every pioneer, was first broken down before they ever rose. So when you are broken, don't ask why me. Ask what's being built in me. When the plans fall apart, don't declare defeat. Ask what new door is this pushing me toward. When people leave you, betray you, disappoint you, don't let it shrink your heart. Let it sharpen your discernment. Let it deepen your power. Because what survives the fire becomes fireproof. Resilience is not just about standing up. It's about how you stand when everything inside you wants to collapse. It's about standing tall not because things are easy, but because your purpose is worth it. Because your mission matters. Because your why is louder than the noise around you. Pain has a voice, but so does perseverance. Disappointment will speak, but so will discipline. Chaos will scream, but if your inner voice is trained, it will answer. I'm still here. I'm still walking. I'm not done. You have to practice this daily. Reframe every challenge, not just mentally, verbally. Say it out loud. This is part of my training. This is making me unshakable. This is strengthening my mind, my heart, my backbone. Because the moment you stop resisting difficulty and start learning from it, you shift from victim to victor. You are not meant to collapse under pressure. You are meant to crystallize through it. Like carbon turning into diamonds, like ore becoming steel, like raw experience transforming into wisdom. But that only happens if you show up when it's hard, when you stay present in the pain, when you use what broke you as the exact reason you build stronger. The next time something hits you, a rejection, a failure, a delay, don't retreat. Breathe, stand still, and speak with clarity. This too is making me better. Because if you keep showing up through storms, you become a force the storm cannot move. Visualize yourself like a tree, deep roots, grounded in belief, anchored in vision, unshakable in purpose. Yes, the winds may bend you. Yes, the storm may howl, but it will pass. And when it does, you will still be standing, taller, stronger, wiser. Every detour is teaching you something. Every delay is stretching your patience. Every heartbreak is refining your empathy. And every setback, every single one, is handing you a tool you'll use to build something later. That's the hidden brilliance of resilience. It doesn't just help you survive, it equips you to thrive. You don't have to enjoy the pain, but you do have to respect it. Because the pain you resist but the pain you lean into, the one you sit with and listen to, that pain becomes your teacher, and the lessons it gives you cannot be bought, borrowed, or faked. They are earned, and they are the foundation of greatness. So do not wish for an easy life. Wish for a resilient mind. Don't pray for smooth roads. Pray for a spirit strong enough to walk on any terrain. Your struggle is not your identity. It is your initiation. You are not falling apart. You are being reforged, reconstructed, reinvented, and that process is painful, but it is sacred, because the world does not need more people who've never faced anything hard. It needs more people who've faced everything hard and chose to rise anyway. You are becoming that kind of person, not because you had to, but because you decided to. There is a moment, silent, invisible, when you look at yourself in the mirror and decide to believe, not because everything is perfect, not because others agree, but because you finally understand. Belief isn't something you wait for. It's something you build, and without it, nothing stands. Belief is not hype. It's not loud. It's not found in followers, or likes, or applause. It lives deeper, quiet, steady, certain. It's the whisper that says go when the world says stop. It's the fire that doesn't flicker even when the wind howls. It's the root beneath the tree, the steel beneath the smile, the fuel beneath the dream. Most people walk through life with more fear than faith, not because they don't have the ability, but because they've never trained their mind to trust itself. Every time they tried, someone laughed. Every time they started, someone doubted. And now the voice in their head doesn't sound like courage anymore. It sounds like caution. But you can change that voice. You can teach it a new tone, one that doesn't wait for permission, one that doesn't ask for guarantee, one that stands tall and says, even if no one sees it yet, I do. I believe. You must become your own believer before anyone else joins you. Because no one will invest in someone who doesn't invest in themselves. No one will trust someone who doesn't walk like they're worthy. And no door opens for someone who stands in front of it hoping instead of knocking. So, today you walk different. Not because everything has changed, but because you have. You understand now that self-belief is not a luxury. It's the foundation. It's the unshakable ground beneath everything else. When that belief is strong, it doesn't matter who leaves. It doesn't matter who doubts. Because you're not building on applause, you're building on truth. Every successful person you admire believed before they ever achieved. The Wright brothers believed in flight when everyone swore gravity was king. Rosa Parks believed in dignity when the world tried to strip it away. Elon Musk believed in rockets while sleeping on couches. Oprah believed in her voice before anyone handed her a mic. These were not people waiting to be discovered. These were people who decided they were already found. And that belief? It rewrote the world. Don't confuse humility with hiding. Don't confuse modesty with playing small. There is nothing noble about underestimating your gifts. There is nothing virtuous about pretending you're not meant for more. You are. You know it. You've felt it. And every time you've tried to dim it, it hurt, because something inside you refuses to settle. So stop apologizing for your light. Stop walking like you're unsure. Confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is clarity. Confidence is walking into the room knowing you don't have to prove anything, but you're ready, if called upon. It's the calm power that doesn't need to shout because it's rooted in truth. You must speak to yourself like a leader, with precision, with certainty. Look in the mirror and tell yourself what you've been waiting to hear from others. I am capable. I am powerful. I am enough. Say it like a fact, not a wish, not a mantra. And when the old thoughts rise up, the ones that say you're not smart enough, not strong enough, not lucky enough, don't wrestle them. Replace them. Over and over again, thought by thought, word by word. You're not just changing your mind. You're changing your chemistry. You're creating a new neural identity, one that aligns with who you were always meant to be. The mind will default to limitation unless retrained. That's the rule. It doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about comfort, survival, repetition. And so you must disrupt it, daily, with truth, with belief, with new vocabulary. I can, I will, I'm ready. This is mine. This is who I am now. Say it again. Say it until it feels natural. Say it until your posture changes, until your voice deepens, until your energy walks into a room before you do. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be aligned. You need to be consistent. You need to be so rooted in who you are becoming that the world's resistance feels like wind against a mountain. Noticed but never stopping you. Belief is contagious. When you believe, people feel it. They lean in. They follow. Not because you're the loudest, but because you're the most certain. Certainty is power. Certainty bends reality, and it's forged in repetition. So practice it, every morning, every night. Write it, speak it, walk it. Let your life become the evidence of your belief, not your bio, not your resume, your presence, your energy, your commitment. The world will test you. Life will push back. Doubt will knock. But when you've trained your belief to speak louder than your fear, Nothing can hold you. You won't need to fake it. You won't need to beg. You'll just move, and everything that's meant for you will begin to move toward you. Because you believed first. There's a current that runs beneath the surface of every world-changing life. A force not taught in school, not sold in stores, but born in the quiet spaces of the soul. Passion, not the fleeting kind, not the hype of the moment, but the fire that doesn't burn out when the spotlight fades. The one that keeps you moving long after the world stops watching. You've heard people say, do what you love. But this isn't about what's easy or romantic or simple. This is about what makes you come alive. What makes you lose track of time. What pulls you so deep into the moment that you forget to check the clock, forget the noise, forget the fear. That's your signal. That's your path. Most people suppress it. They call it a hobby, a distraction. They bury it beneath responsibility. But here's the truth. Passion isn't indulgent. It's essential. It's your soul trying to speak through your body. It's your truest voice rising above obligation, above comparison, above fear. And when you ignore it, you don't just betray a gift. You betray your aliveness. So stop asking what the world will pay for. Ask what you're willing to bleed for. Ask what you would do if no one clapped, if no one paid, if no one noticed. Would you still do it? That's passion. That's your compass. That's the very thing you were sent here to give. And when you pursue it relentlessly, something incredible happens. Your energy changes. Your posture shifts. Your voice carries conviction. You stop chasing and start drawing things toward you. Opportunities, allies, momentum. Passion is magnetic because it is rare, and what is rare becomes valuable. In a world of apathy, passion is currency. Look at the greats. Michelangelo didn't paint ceilings for praise. He did it because something in him refused to settle for mediocrity. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple for applause. He was obsessed with elegance and simplicity. Maya Angelou didn't write for likes. She wrote because the truth had to live somewhere. And her pen became the vessel. These were not people waiting for comfort. They were consumed by their craft. They were driven by purpose. Not because it was profitable, but because it was necessary. And that necessity gave birth to mastery. Because passion, when fed, grows into excellence. And excellence opens every door. You may not know your passion yet. That's okay. Discovery is not a one-time moment. It's a journey. Try new things. Revisit what once made you smile. Follow the trail of what makes you forget your insecurity. Passion leaves clues in the things that spark your energy, in the topics you can't stop talking about, in the moments where you feel like yourself again. Once you find it, protect it, feed it, speak it. Do not let the routine of survival bury the reason you were born. Do not let the cold logic of safety drown the warm glow of soul fire. Passion is not reckless. It is responsible. Because when you do what sets your heart on fire, you light the path for others. Make time for it. Even if it's 5 minutes a day. Even if it's hidden between shifts, between diapers, between deadlines. Because passion doesn't ask for your whole life. It just asks to be lived, to be honored, to be given air. And the more you express it, the more it expands. People will tell you to be practical, to be realistic. But realistic never changed the world. Passion did. It always has. It always will. When you pursue it with discipline, not just emotion, you become unstoppable. You become focused, energized, undeniable. Because passion doesn't just keep you going. It gives your work a signature. It gives your voice a weight. It gives your presence a force. You don't blend in anymore. You stand out. Not by shouting, but by shining. Not by pushing, but by pulling. People feel it. They sense that you're moved by something deeper than profit or pressure. You're moved by purpose. Let passion be your decision maker. When faced with two roads, choose the one that brings you alive. Choose the one that scares you a little. Choose the one that feels like freedom, because success without passion is empty. It will not fulfill you. It will not last. But passion, when honored, will turn success into something sacred. Don't wait for approval. Don't wait for the perfect setup. Start now, with what you have, where you are. You don't need a full stage. You need full commitment. You don't need applause. You need authenticity. You don't need a guarantee. You need to begin. Because once you begin, passion begins to feed itself. One spark becomes a flame. One act becomes momentum. And momentum fueled by purpose becomes unstoppable. You were not born to check boxes. You were not created to live numb. You were not meant to silence the very part of you that feels most alive. That voice, that hunger, that pull, that is your reminder that you are here to create, to build, to love something so much that your time becomes sacred, that your work becomes worship, that your life becomes a message. So pursue it, relentlessly, feed it, fearlessly, honor it, daily. Let it lead. Let it lift. Let it light the fire that refuses to die. Because when passion becomes your fuel, the impossible starts to look inevitable. You've spoken the words. You've seen the vision. You've walked through the storm. You've found the fire. Now, move. Because dreams without action are just beautiful prisons. They decorate your thoughts but keep you locked behind someday. They whisper hope but deliver nothing. And the only way to escape that trap is to move. Not perfectly, not boldly, just move. Action is the great divider. The world is full of thinkers, wishers, planners, and talkers. But the ones who rise, they act. They move when others wait. They build while others analyze. They leap before everything is lined up. Because they understand one sacred truth. Motion creates clarity. You're not going to figure it all out before you begin. That's not how growth works. That's not how success works. The path reveals itself to those who walk it, not to those who wait for it to arrive. Every step you take gives you more vision. Every decision gives you more data. Every attempt gives you more strength. But nothing happens until you move. Stop asking for a perfect plan. Stop waiting for certainty. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Use what's in your hand. Your first video won't be your best. Your first draft will be clumsy. Your first product might flop. But none of that matters, because your first step is never about perfection. It's about momentum. And momentum is everything. It breaks fear. It breaks procrastination. It breaks the paralysis of overthinking. It teaches your mind that you are a person who does, not just dreams. And that identity shift, that's where power lives. When you start to see yourself not as someone with ideas, but someone who executes, your entire reality bends around that belief. History does not remember the timid. It remembers the doers. Walt Disney didn't start with Disneyland. He started with a pencil and a mouse. Oprah didn't start with a network. She started with local news and undeniable presence. Every empire began with a single step, taken by someone who decided that starting was more important than waiting. You don't need to leap across the ocean. You just need to take one step across the room. Pick up the phone. Open the notebook. Start the project. Make the call. Send the email. Record the message. Sketch the idea. Launch the imperfect version. Action, no matter how small, tells your subconscious, I'm serious. And once the mind believes, the body follows. Every evening, look yourself in the mirror and ask, what did I do today to move forward? Not what did I plan? Not what did I think about? What did I do? Let that question become a ritual. Let it guide your habits. Let it shape your days. Because execution compounds. One action becomes two. Two becomes 10. And soon, you're not waiting for your future. You're building it with your bare hand. Stop romanticizing the grind and start respecting the rhythm. Progress isn't about pushing nonstop. It's about showing up again and again with focus, with presence, with discipline. The world doesn't need more ideas. It needs more action takers. People who move, adjust, learn, and repeat. That's you now. That's who you've chosen to become. When resistance shows up, and it will, don't freeze. Breathe. And move anyway. When doubt whispers, "You're not ready," smile and say, "That's okay. I'm going anyway." When fear rises, and your mind invents 1,000 reasons to delay, act before the excuses become habits. That's how power is built. Not in massive leaps, but in micro decisions that accumulate into an unshakable identity. Do not confuse busyness with movement. Do not mistake planning for building. You don't need a 10-year map. You need a Monday action. What are you doing today that your future self will thank you for tomorrow? What are you building today that your past self used to dream of? You're not here to live in theory. You're here to live in truth. And truth is built brick by brick with action. You want confidence? Take action. You want clarity? Take action. You want momentum? Take action. Every single thing you desire is found on the other side of doing. Let go of needing to know everything. Let go of waiting for others to agree. Let go of the fear of failing. You will fail, and it will teach you more than success ever could. It will carve wisdom into your bones. It will sharpen your instincts, and it will refine your strategy. You don't grow by thinking. You grow by doing. You evolve by doing. You lead by doing. So do. Don't wait for motivation. Motivation is the result of movement, not the cause of it. Move, and the energy will come. Act, and the fire will rise. Execute, and the path will appear. And when it does, keep walking. Because the person who decides to act becomes unstoppable. The world is not static. It moves, it shifts, it evolves. And the ones who rise with it, who stay relevant, impactful, and true, are the ones who never stop learning. Learning is not a task. It's a way of breathing. It's the decision to stay open when life tries to harden you. It's the humility to admit, "I don't know yet, but I'm willing to find out." That mindset, that willingness, it's more valuable than talent, more enduring than luck, more transformative than inspiration. Because when you commit to lifelong learning, you unlock doors no degree can open. You become adaptable, resilient, innovative. And in a world that changes faster than ever, adaptability is not optional. It is survival. No, more than survival. It is mastery. Look at the great ones, the ones who stayed timeless. They read, they listened, they watched, they questioned, they absorbed life like a sponge, and in doing so, they remained fertile ground for growth. They weren't rigid, they were flexible. When the winds of change blew, they adjusted their sail. They didn't curse the storm. They redirected their path. That is the difference between those who fade and those who forge forward. One clings to the past. The other transforms with the future. You have that power, right now. Choose a subject. Dive into it. Study it like your freedom depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. Learn from your mentors, from your critics, from your failures, from your victories. Every experience is a classroom if your eyes are open. Don't let pride block your evolution. Don't let routine become your cage. If you feel stuck, it's not because you've hit the ceiling. It's because you stopped raising the roof. You stopped feeding the mind that feeds your mission. So feed it, daily, purposefully, like your life is being sculpted, because it is. And as you evolve, you will begin to understand something profound. You were never meant to do this alone. Greatness is never a solo act. Behind every breakthrough is a tribe. Behind every transformation is a conversation. Behind every empire is a circle of belief, support, and shared vision. You must build that, intentionally, thoughtfully, relentlessly. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, not just cheer for you. People who hold you accountable, not just applaud your ambition. People who see who you're becoming, not just who you've been. And just as importantly, become that kind of person for others. Speak life, share wisdom, listen without distraction, give without scoreboard keeping. Relationships built on trust, respect, and purpose are not just a luxury. They are your multiplier. They amplify everything you touch. They stabilize you when you falter. They accelerate you when you're ready. They keep you human when success tries to make you hollow. The greatest currency in life is not money. It's connection. Real, aligned, soul-level connection. That's where fulfillment lives. That's where impact multiplies. That's where legacy is born. So build with people who are hungry, who are humble, who are healing. People who want more, not just for themselves, but for the world around them. That's how vision becomes movement. That's how movement becomes revolution. And as you walk this path, learning, adapting, connecting, never forget, your mindset is the master key. You can have the skills, you can have the tools, you can have the plan, but if your mind is off, nothing flows. Your mind is the gatekeeper of your energy, your belief, your execution. Keep it clean, keep it focused, keep it strong. Every morning, renew it. Speak to it with clarity. Feed it with truth. Filter out the noise, anchor it in purpose. Your attitude determines your altitude, and every day is a chance to rise. You were not put here to drift. You were not born to conform. You were sent to disrupt, to awaken, to embody the kind of life that inspires not through words but through presence. The kind of life that speaks before it speaks. The kind of life that reminds others that it's possible. And it is. It always has been. But you must decide. Decide to speak differently, to see differently, to endure differently, to believe differently, to act differently, to grow differently, to lead differently, to connect differently. Because when you do, the world responds in kind. You are not here to wait. You are here to wake up, to rise up, to live up, to the dream that's lived in you since before you even had words for it. This is your invitation. This is your reminder. This is your moment. Speak with purpose. Walk with vision. Endure with strength. Believe with certainty. Act with courage. Learn with fire. Adapt with grace. Connect with heart. And above all, never forget who you are when no one's watching. Because that version of you, that's the one who wins.